YouTube. Hope you're all okay out there. Thanks ever so much for watching my little videos. It's very kind of you. And if you wouldn't mind, if you enjoy what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now what I'm doing at the moment, these are my first little forays, first little experiences of YouTube and how to do these readings using just the camera over the cards, right? I'm going to work my way through all of the angel cards, and when I've exhausted these, so that should be 78 readings, then I'm going to start doing what the other tarot readers do on the YouTube, which is do pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. So thanks ever so much for watching these, my practice sort of demo tarot readings. And if you can resonate with anything that has come up, feel free to take it and use it for healing. It's only ever meant to make you feel better, okay, not worse. But if anything comes up for you where you feel a deep emotional connection, let me know, okay, because I'm all ears out here on the YouTube, all ears. I'm not sure what this little stone is. It's so lovely. It's so, look at it. It looks like a typical human that's been through the mill, doesn't it? It's been ravaged. It's lots of different shades and the patterns. I don't know if you can see it very well. I'm going to just leave it there. Put it there and choose an angel card for you. Oh, stop that. Oh, look, and again, got one left in the packet. Look at this, one left in. Now, normally I do lists and I find a different way to choose one, but since I've been doing this on the YouTube, for some reason there's always one that gets left in the packet. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take that then. Take that. Responsibility. Ooh, love responsibility. Do we love responsibility? How do we feel about responsibility? How do we feel about being responsible? I love responsibility and I love power. Because if you're the person in power and you're the person responsible, you're the person that gets to make the choices about what's happening, right? With great power comes great responsibility. Isn't that what they say? Well, with great responsibility comes great power equally. Now, half of the fun of life I've found is figuring out what you're responsible for, what's your responsibility, and what is someone else's responsibility. Often, when you think about our personal self-development and how we are as humans, a typical pattern where people get reeled into unhealthy relationships is where we take too much responsibility for someone else. We take too much responsibility for other people's misdemeanours and their poor behaviour and things that happen to other people. We can take the blame for that, particularly if we're in a victim mentality or we are literally in a situation where we're being treated like a victim. One of the best ways to work your way out of the victim scenario is to recognise what is your responsibility and what is the responsibility of someone else. It's easy to take the blame when someone wants to criticise you and blame you for what you're not or how you're not being, and you've got to ask yourself, why does a person want to do that to you? Because if healthy people don't attack other people, right? They don't. If you're a healthy person and you've done the work and you recognise that how you feel and you would never do anything to hurt another person, ask yourself why somebody else would want to criticise what you do. Okay? And then take it on board, look at it, has it got any element of truth in it? But first and foremost, ask yourself, why does this person want to criticise me and point out what I'm not doing and not give me any credit for what I am doing? Okay, so the sooner you learn where your boundaries are, so here's your boundary, here's a healthy boundary, I accept your opinion, I can look at your opinion, I may not agree with you, you've got a right to your opinion, but have you really got any right to criticise something I'm doing because you don't like it the way it's been done, you don't like how I do it, you don't like it being done that way because it's not your way? Learn those boundaries. It's a very fine line between having agreed with someone that they can offer you constructive criticism, right, and you're going to work together, and equally you can offer them constructive criticism. If it's a one-way street, chances are you're having your boundaries eroded. Now personally, and this year 2022, there's a lot in the news and the media about narcissism and narcissists, and one of the easiest ways to see if a person is a narcissist, to start off with, see how their boundaries are, is by telling them no when they try and say or do something to you. And ask yourself, where is it your responsibility to deal with your feelings about your fear of being able to say no? Okay, and this responsibility card has reminded me of these boundary issues, which are what keep us safe. Having healthy boundaries says that you can say no to someone, you can recognise when someone's being critical of you, that you haven't asked them to be critical. This healthy boundary protects you from all manner of interrogation and all manner of poor treatment afterwards. But it starts with the criticism, being critical of who you are, critical of what you're saying, critical of how you're being, critical of what you're wearing, critical of insert your own, whatever it is. I used to have somebody who used to be critical of me tying the rubbish bins up. You know, the bags, you put the black bags in, I used to tie them up with knots. And I had a critical partner who would say to me, why have you put knots in the bags? Not, would you like me to put the bags out? Or, oh, did you have to get up at 6:30 in the morning to put the rubbish out? No. Criticised me for the way I did it. Right? And that comes from an underlying from them feeling of insecurity. The way that they can overcome their own feelings of insecurity is to attack you. Now, if you've got healthy boundaries, which I didn't have at the time, I believed them there was something wrong with how I was putting the rubbish out. I can laugh about this now, but if you're in a situation where you find yourself being faced with a person who is eroding your boundaries, just know there's not anything you can do about that. You can't stop that behaviour. All you can do is shore up your defences and make sure that you know what is a healthy boundary and what isn't. Okay, if you're just going to be trodden on by this person because they feel like they can, because it makes them feel bigger, when you're dead on the floor, nearly dead, and you've given up, this person just get bored with you and go off and go and annoy someone else because you're no longer feeding their need for a source, right? Responsibility. So, responsibility of life, being on the planet, being human. Take responsibility for your own stuff, your own emotional boundaries, and that way you put yourself in a more powerful position. Now, power might mean you're going to get through the day without feeling really, really low, right? Power doesn't necessarily mean you're going to turn into a megalomaniac and go and try and run Ukraine, you know, not that sort of responsibility and power. Just be aware of the level of responsibility you've got and make sure it matches, and you're matching what you consider to be a healthy state for a human. Okay, genuinely think, would you reasonably expect another human to put up with the information that's coming at you? So if you're being bombarded with information which you're not sure is right or not, take it out of your mind, put it on a piece of paper, write it down, and look at it and think, if somebody you knew was experiencing that information coming at them, would you expect them to reasonably accept that? So if you can't create healthy boundaries for yourself, then imagine those boundaries being on someone else and think, would you expect that person to put up with it? Because often when people are having their boundaries eroded, it's because they've got low self-esteem and they esteem others more than themselves. So they look at other people and think, oh yeah, that person deserves to be treated well, that person deserves to be loved and treated with kindness and have their boundaries respected. So if you can see that it's acceptable for another person, you then bring that onto yourself. And if you can't do that, then that's the time to ask for help and have a look at what it is that you're experiencing and see whether it's right or wrong, and ask someone else's opinion and go for expert advice and all that, you know. Healing with the angels, surrender and release. Now this is great. This suggests to me that you are carrying responsibilities beyond what you need to be or what you should be, carrying responsibilities for someone else. Time to surrender and release. Ooh, that's very difficult to do sometimes, isn't it? Surrender and release. Let go. Just let go. As they say, let go and let God, yeah? Or as I say, let go and let the universe deal with it. Let the manager of the universe sort this stuff out if it's not your responsibility. You just hang on to your bit, work on your side of the street, and everything else, just let it go. See where it happens. Just throw it all up in here and see where the chips fall. Now, let me read the card for you. Let go and allow God and the angels to help you. Everything that you release will either be replaced by something better or will be returned to you healed. Okay? Now, if you have got feelings about letting go of something, again, you've got to do the inner work and look at yourself and ask, what are you scared of? Because usually it's fear. The reason why people cling on to things which are no longer serving them is fear. See, this person, right, is hanging on here to a vessel. Can you see that? It's got water in it. It's a water vessel. So she thinks it's something that she needs. She desperately needs this in her life, but it's leaking. And it's not actually doing her any good. It's just a heavy weight she's carrying. By the time she gets to the end, it's not going to have any water in it. She carried it for nothing because it wasn't hers to carry. If you carry other people's responsibilities, you're not helping them because you're not doing the work, because it's their responsibility. They've got to do the work, okay? It's not for you to carry. When you hold on tightly to a part of your life that's not working, it has no room to heal. That vase needs to be at the potter's. Right? That vase is not yours to fix. Whether you're unhappy with your love life, finances, career, home or health, this card asks you to let go. If you hang on to these aspects of your life because of fears, such as, what if I can't find someone or something better, then the situation will only worsen. Yeah, because then you're giving off a vibration of, I don't believe that there is anything better. I don't believe I deserve anything better. No one else is going to want me. I'm not going to be able to find a better job. And all those. Insert your own mental worries and stress and the thoughts that you're thinking in that little gap. Okay, if you write it down, the sorts of things that you think that relate to your fear, it can help you bring it out into the open and recognise it's not real. It's just what you're telling yourself. It's not, because how can it be real? You don't know if it's real yet. It hasn't happened. It's in the future. You're scared of the unknown. Or are you? Let me know what you're scared of. What stops you from letting go of something which you know is bad for you? However, if you're willing to open your hands and allow the situation to be freed, okay, this is only emotionally. We're not talking about literally doing anything, okay? So you don't have to say to someone, I've had enough of your crap, mate. Kate, take this, right? You don't need to say anything or do anything. Just emotionally and mentally let it go and watch what changes happen around you and around the situation. One of two situations will occur. Either it will be washed away from you and replaced by a better situation, or the situation will heal in a miraculous way. By drawing this card, the angels ask you, try not to control the outcome of your troubling situation. Let go and let God help you. And this is why people don't let go, because they're fearful that it might be replaced by something worse, right? Now, sometimes things are replaced by nothing for a bit, and you have time and space to feel your way into your next steps. And that's what people are scared of. You're scared of the alternative. Ask yourself, how bad can the alternative get? Can you cope with the alternative? But don't think about that too much. Don't think too much about an unwanted alternative. Don't think about any alternative. Just think about not having this burden to carry and letting go of that. And just see what happens, what falls into place around it. And start feeling your way to feeling better, as if you're not carrying it. Just feel that. Feel it into being. Just gently let it go. Because you don't have to physically or speak about it. That's the power of your words. You don't need to make the changes to make something change. I don't know what happened to my little camera went a bit weird. Hey camera, what is wrong with you? Doesn't want to react. Maybe I'm moving my hands back too much. So you don't need to actually physically make changes. Make the emotional change first and the psychological change first, as if you're just letting it go. Just hand it over. See what happens. And then that way you'll get a feel for what is actually going to happen if you do make physical changes and you do start saying words like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is yours. This is not my problem. Not my problem. That's for you. You deal with that. This is yours. Hand it over. Okay, don't carry other people's burdens when they're wearing you out and you've done enough. Done enough. You're all done. Right. let's have a little look what the Oracle's cards think about responsibility. I'm amazed really what this is going to say about this. Surrender and release, and the Oracle card is going to offer some strange picture of wisdom about freedom, probably. What is it? Oh my goodness, courage. Oh, okay. Right, so whoever's been drawn to this card then is feeling desperate fear and terror, quite possibly. Absolute, like at a loss that they can manage to get through this bit. Having drawn this card, know that you will, okay? You will get through this, and you will be given the courage to do it. Now, this card is a unicorn, okay? Unicorns don't exist, do they? Now, I do love to see the unicorn. I see it as a really highly spiritual representation of a miracle, because people don't believe it exists, and yet everyone believes in it enough. It's on our British passports. We did have a unicorn on our passports. It's like the unicorn is now representative of Facebook and all the giant startups. If you get a unicorn, you're in the ground zero of the new Twitter, right? You're in at ground zero of the new YouTube. Well, this courage card comes up for you. You're at ground zero of your new life. This is not a little question that you're dealing with here that you're going to let go of. You're going to have the courage to do it. You're going to have the courage to make the changes. But no one's going to force you to do anything you're not ready to do or you don't want to do. This is your choice. And know that with the choice comes the responsibility that you're going to live with this outcome for quite some time. Let's have a little look. I'm sorry for knocking the cards about. I'm so sorry. With the responsibility, you're going to have the courage of your convictions, is what I'm feeling, okay? Making positive changes. It's going to be really for the best. Strength in overcoming, stamina, enduring, persistence. Okay, so you just have to keep going. This strong masculine unicorn brings courage to overcome the challenges that are blocking the way. The unicorn has climbed an amethyst crystal mountain. And as it rears up and smashes back down onto the crystal, it breaks it up and eventually turns the mountain into small pieces. Okay, so if you take the problems one tiny little step at a time, you can do this. The courage that is being offered is for you to have the same strength and stamina to break down the obstacles and the mountains that sit in front of you, and to turn those mountains which seem so big into small pieces of nothingness. My mum used to be a hypnotherapist, and she had this idea that when you're scared of something, you imagine looking at it through a telescope, right? So you picture whatever it is that you're scared of through a telescope. Imagine you've got a telescope and you're looking through it, and at the other end it makes it really big, doesn't it? Like the size of a mountain. What you do is you take the telescope and you turn it round, and that mountain becomes just a very small obstacle that you can just step over. And that is the power that you've got on the inside of you. Internally, you have got the courage to make giant leaps seem really easy. They will seem to you like it's just a small step. I mean, it is a giant leap. Psychologically, it's a huge leap. Emotionally, it's a draining leap. But physically, you can do this. You just got to do it. Now let me know, people out there, how you're feeling about that. The idea of getting courage from somewhere. I think once you've made a decision to make a change or do something different, the courage to do it sort of comes with the momentum of engaging in something that you're looking forward to. So the change starts to feel like something good rather than something bad, and then it becomes so much easier because you start to feel like it isn't something to be scared of, it's something to be embraced and enjoyed and lived through, because when you look back you know that you made positive improvements and you did that. Queen of Swords, there we go. You're going to cut through any obstacles. There's no obstacles that can hold you back. You're just going to do it, and you're just going to tell people. You're going to say, see ya, bye. Look at that, waving. Literally, she's waving bye while she's taking her sword with her, dropping through all sorts of admin. So, this is you. This is you. This is you. You can do this. 100% you can do this. Let me have a little look at the Untethered Soul card. Now, I'm not going to read out the meaning of the Queen of Swords, right? Because it's obvious. It's a woman of strength who is capable of winning, right? You don't have to defeat someone else to win. You just have to take yourself off on your best path for you, right? And in this case, because it is relating to a person, I'm not going to read out what the tarot card book thinks it means, because these cards have significance and meaning for different people, don't they? They mean different things for different people in the situations that they're in. But this is a really common situation, isn't it? It's a really common life scenario where you get to a stage where you're just not carrying unwanted stuff anymore. You're not prepared to carry other people's stuff. You're not prepared, even if that's emotional stuff, you're not prepared to carry other people's guilt. You're not carrying other people's responsibilities. You're just not doing it anymore. What you are doing is living your best life, and by doing that you're allowing them to grow and change. The highest state you have ever experienced is simply the result of how open you were. If you don't close, it can be like that all the time. Okay, so as you go on your path of growth, you're going to find better states of being, and you're going to enjoy life more. You're going to be happier because of the bravery, and you'll be glad you did it. You'll be glad you made the change. Okay, YouTube, let me know. Give me some feedback. See what you think about that. Bye, 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 bye.